Okay, so during San Diego Comic-Con, specifically the Marvel Hall H panel, we got to look at what's coming over the span of the next 2 years. 10 projects, 2 years, and it was a pretty I part of me wants to say interesting slate. There were interesting elements to it, but a lot of it was kind of like, wasn't really, I don't know, didn't really do it for me as much as I thought it would. And that's entirely possible because Endgame was as massive as it was. It felt like the ending of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Spider-Man Far From Home ended, where it set up for Peter Parker's journey. To me, is far more interesting than almost anything they've got coming over the span of the next 2 years in the MCU. And neither one of those was essentially even touched upon during the panel. We got the Eternals, which is getting this roasted because it race bends and gender bends some characters. I don't know. It's kind of an unpopular, I don't know. I don't want to say unpopular, but like kind of unknown storyline. And again, when Marvel starts getting into a lot of like the godlike characters, the translation from book to screen is going to become far harder. It's one of the same reasons Superman has his issues. It's one of the reasons why Snyder deconstructed him in the way that he did, because it's very difficult to portray a god in a real world setting and ask people to suspend their disbelief enough. But that's that. You had the Black Widow movie. We already knew about that. It kind of feels like it should have been an early phase 3 film or come out before the events of Avengers Endgame to therefore make the situation involving Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff far more engaging. This kind of feels like a slap in the face for anyone who is emotionally stunted from that particular act of heroism on her part in the film. And she actually came out with a comment. She says now that the future of Marvel is female. She says, and this is the direct quote, "It's pretty explosive. The future is female for Marvel. That's what it feels like." At least that's what this particular phase feels like, that the future of Marvel is female. I don't know how much of that I truly believe, because if you really do break it down, there's a mixed gender cast on the Eternals. Yes, Scarlet Witch is going to be in 2 programs. The Wandavision, which is kind of her show on Disney Plus, a limited 6 to 8 episode series that will tie in directly to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is a team up film with her and Doctor Strange, where she will be the female lead, but she's not going to be the pure lead of that particular story. That's still going to be Doctor Strange. Then you've got, the mighty Thor, Natalie Portman, playing that in Love, or Thor, was it Thor, Thunder and Life, Love and Thunder, whatever. It doesn't even really matter what it's called. It's a title that I have a feeling is still going to end up having its name changed. It just makes a lot of sense. But people are kind of jumping on the Scarlett Johansson thing, right? The future of Marvel is female, and they're losing their damn minds over it. Here's the thing. It's a one sentence statement. She says the future of Marvel is female. That's what it feels like. That's not a declarative, definitive statement. Saying that's what it feels like is not saying that's what it is. That's her opinion, her idea of where she thinks things are going. I mean, other than that, you've got those are the really kind of only few female-led projects. If you want to call Eternals as being female-led, I'm not too sure. Richard Madden is playing Icarus as the leader of the Eternals. One would argue that the leader of the Eternals would be the lead in the film. But then you've also got Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie involved. We don't know to what capacity that they're going to be in. Elizabeth Olsen is clearly going to be leading the WandaVision show. Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson are going to be leading Thor, Love and Thunder. So you've got a couple that are there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let's be real for a second. Let's be real. There's nothing wrong with telling stories featuring female characters or people of color or of different religious backgrounds or of different, gender identities, all things considered. None of that's a problem, as long as it's told in an interesting enough fashion and it doesn't lose itself in the identity politics. When Scarlett Johansson comes out and makes a comment like this, it becomes a headline. And when it becomes a headline, people only focus on the headline. They get out there and they rage. And you can probably already think of a few channels that I'm referring to here that will do that. That will absolutely do that, where they're just going to be like, "Oh my God, the future is female. Look at how," and they're going to go back to Kathleen Kennedy and the shirt she wore, "The Force is female," which was was a direct ripoff of a Nike slogan. Actually, I really think that was like a Nike shirt that they just bought and wore, if I recall correctly. It means ultimately nothing. It really means ultimately nothing. It does. It's getting really also annoying when people lose their collective crap at that, when they lose their mind at that comment, right? They go, oh, the SJW. Like, okay, calm down. Slow your roll. Let's back up a little second here. Doesn't impact the story. That's a question. Did Brie Larson and any of the dumb things she said before Captain Marvel do anything to the story? No. And there are people out there that were lambasting her nonstop for months leading up to the release of that movie. And ultimately they came back and went, it's kind of a dumb film. She was fine. That's it. None of this really matters in the concept of getting the story. If you let this one line from Scarlett Johansson, who has been unabashedly feminist for years, ruin this movie for you or ruin Marvel for you, then you just haven't really been paying attention to everything else that's been going on. It's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. Look, you may not like her politics, and that's entirely fine. You can not like their politics. You're entirely okay with not liking their politics. I'm not a fan of their politics, but in the roles that they're playing, I have no issue with it. I didn't like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel because I felt her character was never in any actual danger, even in Endgame, as she's entirely overpowered, OP character that ultimately doesn't have an interesting history to me. I don't find her to be interesting at all as a character. Am I still going to go see the next movie? Yeah, 100%. Because I got my money at this point. I just hope they give her a worthy story and they give her a worthy character to bounce off of, because I don't think she's going to have Sam Jackson as Nick Fury the second time around. So there's that. But at the end of the day, is the future of Marvel female? No, they got way more male characters than female characters. When they start trying to, if they start trying to gender bend a lot more, you know what I mean? Like if all of a sudden Sam Wilson becomes Samantha Wilson, right? I can see people getting upset, but in the meantime, it's not that big of a deal. They value money over identity politics more often than not. That's a studio thing. The actors are going to have their opinions, however misinformed they might be. And that's kind of where things are at just as a whole. I don't care about this. It's not even something really worth like getting into, but a lot of people ask me to talk about this, and those are my honest thoughts on it. Like, I don't care. I don't want to sit there and try to like feel like I need to force myself to like want to boycott a movie because its star said something stupid. I mean, people love to go and see Tom Cruise movies, and Scientology, of which he is an absolute spokesperson for, has been accused of human trafficking and all sorts of other terrible things, brainwashing, kidnapping, human trafficking, right? Like they have you sign a contract for 1 billion years to serve on Sea Org for your soul. You sign away your soul to this company, it is a company, to this religion. But yet people still go out in droves and watch Tom Cruise movies. The opinions of actors are not super consequential to the products that they are a part of. And I think that's the thing. Plus, look, here's the deal is I have one daughter. I have another daughter being born here in the next couple of weeks. And you know what? If they want to like something like this, I don't want there to be a world where them trying to find a role model that fits them, that they can relate to is a constant online fight. So I don't think it needs to be a constant online fight. These are just characters in movies. Actors come, actors go, and look, all things considered, Feige hasn't let us down so far with a lot of this stuff. Some stuff's been better than others, 100%. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter. But there are people out there who want to sell you outrage because it makes them money. And that's really what it boils down to. Of people who are making a big deal about this. How woke is Marvel? Oh my God. It's not really that woke. Just poor story choices right now from what it appeals to me. But I leave it to you, your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know down below in the comment section. Hit me up on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/3Buck Theater. Link in the video description. Check us out on Patreon. It really does help out. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.